Hello and welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast. My name is Dave, and guess what? I'm a host today. It's a sports pod. Dillon Shivery joins me in studio.
Man, I am legitimately excited to talk about the sports today. I feel like there's sneaky so much happening right now.
It's palpable.
It is, man. It's going to be a action-packed episode of all kinds of sports knowledge and takes, and I'm here for it.
Why does it sound like we're doing like a reset pod? We're just kind of like doing a rebrand a little bit, like let people know, like, hey,
We're
sports.
here to talk sports.
No, but you do have a little extra skip in your gait.
Yeah. Big news in Texas athletics, which of course has my attention as I am a fan.
Indeed.
Got KJ here.
We'll get to that later, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
It's in the rundown, so we will
Yeah,
get to that
we
later.
will get to it
actually.
later. I'm supposed to do that, right? Wait for the actual
It's a tease.
segment. Yeah.
It's a tease. I thought maybe you're gonna punctuate it.
No. Let's introduce the other man here.
Here's a guy who does some punctuating with his tongue. It's KJ Ellis, live from Madison. He's a tongue puncture. You do. You have a way with words.
Happy to be here.
A wordsmith.
Happy to be here, fellas. Looking at the clock, put the countdown at, I don't know, 3.5 days till I see you folks in person. Aged up for Chicago meetup weekend.
Did you just combine?
Meat kitten.
A meekend.
Meekin.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to see you, KJ.
He's so horned up to meet us finally in
I'm
person.
excited to give you a big old bear hug when I see you. He's very bear huggable, isn't he?
Got one for you, bud.
Man, that's gonna look. Get a photo
I
of that
can't
when Dillon
fucking
finally
talk
hugs
today.
KJ. It's
I'm
gonna.
gonna get my big old paws on you.
What's the deal, man? Why you dressed so cool? You look cool today.
Truth being, I'm about 2 hours removed from an appearance on Wash Media's own The Dumb Zone. And I was happy to be there. I did come prepared in case anyone thought I'd been spared in the anti-Wash Media sentiment.
Oh,
I brought my own Dumb Zone
dude. He
Reddit
printed
post from December.
it out. He used actual color ink on that too.
Wow.
That must have set you back a few cents.
Seriously.
Damn, this dude's not kidding.
It's an absolute reflection of the fact that we just re-upped on printer ink. I'm glad that Dillon recognized this. This has nothing to do with the fact that I wanted to pull up the Reddit post. I just wanted to show that I had some ink.
Yeah, you went live with the boys, Dan and Jake and Blake, and I didn't get to tune in for long. I just saw you were on there, so I tapped in, checked it out, saw some good stuff, some good broadcasting. Then I tapped out. Then I went and ate leftover chicken piccata at my home.
Mm.
Yeah, eating
We'll
good.
see picky in them on a Monday. I like it.
That's right. KJ mentioned it. We got a big weekend ahead of us in Chicago. And where can these people join us? Okay, if you want to meet, look, yeah, it's being billed as a circling back trip. Yeah, fine. But it's a Wash Media trip. And
Always.
you're getting the entire Too Much Dip squad there. And that's something that's when we did the Dallas meetup, KJ was there. I don't think we were doing Too Much Dip yet, were we?
Hard
We
to
were
say.
not.
Okay. Well, this will be the first time the three of us are together in formation.
Friday. We're going
Mhm.
to kick it off at the Muggsy store, 5 o'clock local time, obviously. Chicago on Armitage. We don't know how to say it. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Armitage.
5 o'clock, Muggsy store, beers, buds,
Denim.
the best fucking denim
Denim
you're ever going to
buds.
touch in your life.
Denim that's so fucking dope, it'll make you calm.
We can't promise that part, but they will. 20% off in store, by the way. And on Saturday,
Don't undersell that because Muggsy's got great stuff. 20% off everything in the store is crazy.
don't accuse me of underselling it. I'm
kinda
properly
undersold it.
properly selling it.
Well,
It's
you
a
need to
very exciting.
punctuate
It's a
it.
very exciting event. Saturday, Sluggers, Wrigleyville, 6 p.m. Batting cages, Golden Tee, KJ will be there. Randy will be there. Dave, of course, everyone's favorite, will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Going to be exciting. Sluggers, Chi-Town. Let's ride.
You got your fit planned out, KJ?
It's going to be rowback heavy. There's no question about that.
Fuck yeah.
But now that we're talking about the roster that's going to be there, I'm going to have something. Bring an athletic bottom, if you will, because I might challenge Randy to a rogue race at Sluggers.
Ooh.
Oh, I'll be
Who
in my
knows?
boots. I don't know if that'll work.
Randy's never been described as an athletic
Aw.
bottom. Wait, does Sluggers have the like the training turf that your little Apex Institute for quarterbacks would have, where it's like 50 yards and it's thinner? Do they have that so you can just run races at whenever you want? I don't know. Dylan described it as like having everything else. So
No,
I mentioned two things.
I've been there once.
I feel like batting cages
It's
is
very intoxicated.
is not a traditional item at a bar.
They have new signage out front, and on the sign it says "dueling pianos," and they added an apostrophe in pianos for no reason at all. And I'm gonna have a hard time letting that go when I'm there.
Wait.
we shouldn't be really talking shit about apostrophes when it comes to Sluggers.
Why?
Why?
Because our original graphic had an apostrophe and it's just Sluggers. It's just Sluggers. No.
Yeah, but
apostrophe.
that's not a mistake of basic grammar, because a lot of restaurants are like Dave's.
Come
like
on down.
Sluggers. An apostrophe could actually make sense there. It's not a grammar play.
You've further confused me. This fucking place has pianos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, time out. You
Pizza.
got a batting cage over here
We got a golden tee over here,
and dueling pianos.
dueling
Yeah.
pianos.
And we're sure there's not a turf strip?
Yeah,
pianos
no.
are going to be dueling.
That's all upstairs, and then downstairs is more just like a regular bar.
Holy shit.
It's going to be a scene, man.
I'm very excited. And to be clear, I've been here. Randy, you would know.
I don't think so.
Did we not do this on first time around Chicago?
No, we
I
didn't
don't
go to
think you guys
Sluggers.
did. No,
Oh.
I'll look it up really quick, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
you don't
did.
have to. We'll just take your word for it. You're the oracle. You're the washed media, touching base, circling back oracle, and I trust
Historian.
you. Well, that's going to be very fun.
Yes.
So meet us there. Today's show is brought to you by Rollback, the aforementioned Rollback.
Oh, is it, buddy?
Man, Dylan's rocking, I believe, a Paloma enthused shirt.
It's called the Paloma, as
It's
a matter
sick.
of fact.
It's
Yeah,
very, very
It
sick.
is sick. I loaded up recently on a few things from them. They have a new T-shirt. It's like a tech material tee. The Tailwind, I believe it's called. The softest piece of clothing I've ever owned in my entire life. And truth in advertising, I can't lie about that. It's the softest shit I own.
It's a felony.
Exactly. Their swim trunks are very legit. An amazing liner. They have all kinds of stuff. A polo print for everyone. They have over 340 of them, I think. Rowback.com. Use code WASHED20. WASHED20 for 20% off at checkout. It's a one-time use code.
I don't know if they intended this, but that Paloma shirt, you could sneaky pull that off at Tennessee game day.
Yeah, you could.
It's a quality shirt, quality stuff.
Great,
Check
it's a
them
great
out.
color scheme.
Where do you want to begin? You want to break some Big 12 or I guess SEC baseball?
Yeah,
news?
let's talk about Texas baseball for a minute. A minute. I could find a minute and a moment. I pulled a KJ just now. Anyway, for a moment.
Yeah, he did.
Texas announced this morning that they have fired head coach David Pierce. The timing of this this is kind of expected. The timing of it, however, a bit unexpected, as it is the morning of the College World Series final between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Why does that matter so much?
Can I guess?
You're asking yourself. David, go ahead.
As a Cowboy fan, this is a Jerry Jones playbook move. This
Me-
is let's get a little eyes on us, even though we're not in it.
Yes, and to add another layer to that, there is widespread conjecture that the rumor mill is going that the replacement could be Texas A&M's Jim Schlossnagle, a revered head coach in college baseball. Now, I don't know. Okay,
Schloss.
so the Pierce thing has been done for a while, per reports. So it's like, why wait to announce it if the portal is open? For, like you want to get someone in place right away to start putting the pieces together for the 2025 season. So the speculation is that the coach was still playing in the College World Series. Like the next head coach for Texas was still playing. And so people think it's Schlossnagle from Texas A&M. I find that pretty far-fetched. I find that hard to believe because to announce it the morning of this game and then for the coach to then be apparently the announcement's going to happen in the next couple of days. That just seems like a diabolical move.
Yeah, it really does.
And if Texas A&M were to win the national championship this evening, I find that even more difficult to believe. How are you going to win a national championship and then the next day, like, oh, by the way, I'm going to your arch rival. I will be their next head coach. Like it seems super far-fetched for me. I don't know what's going to happen. Also, as a speculation, it could be Tony Vitello. Is that how you say it? Vitello, the head coach for Tennessee.
Interesting.
Either way, this thing is going to be interesting to follow in the next couple of days. I don't know what to expect. I would love for it to be Schlossnagle because A, he's a hell of a coach, and B, it would really grind the gears of Texas A&M fans quite a bit.
They go out there and they shit the bed tonight because they're not focused because they've read all the rumors.
Like, oh, our coach is leaving us. They just come out completely flat, lose, and then they lose their head coach. That would send A&M into an absolute tailspin.
It would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would be hilarious.
As someone who's neutral in this whole deal, like that's the kind of stuff I need in my college athletics. It kind of happened with TCU, SMU. KJ, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Yeah.
So Schlossnagle and Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte, CDC for short, they're boys.
TCU.
They were together at TCU. They apparently are just straight up like they hang out together, outside of, work.
Kickbacks.
So I don't know. If this were any other program than Texas A&M, I'd be like, oh, it's a slam dunk hire. Like, you go get this guy. But it's a little murky. It'd be very interesting to follow the next couple of days, like I said. I'm excited to see what happens. Don't know what's going to happen.
KJ, you are kind of the moral compass of college athletics. You're big into ethics. How does this make you feel?
Well, anytime you bring the Schloss into the discussion, you really can't follow that with reason. The man's an absolute wild card, if you will. As Dillon so earnestly pointed out, he did spend several years at TCU prior to coming down to Texas A&M, where his first season he was led the Aggies to first place in the SEC. So he's had a lot of quick success. This is the end of his third season. You would think that we're at contract negotiation times. So if he isn't actually taking the job or being offered the job, Chris Del Conte might be doing his buddy a solid by floating these rumors so that he could get re-signed for more.
Yeah, sure.
That's some serious brothership right there.
That could definitely be the case. I don't know. If Texas A&M were to win tonight, it would be their first national championship in the three major sports. That includes basketball, baseball, and football in 84 years.
Is that a lot? A year?
It feels like a lot. Yeah. What's that? What's the how many years does that old lady say it in the Titanic gif? It's been 85 years. Something like that. 83, one year more. So
is that why you're bringing it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been very few people alive today were also alive when they won the national championship in football.
If you are an A&M guy,
1939,
and you were around for that one,
pre-World War II,
what's your secret to longevity? If you're that guy, I've been drinking piss all my life. I don't drink piss. I'm just kidding.
I have a nip of Jolt Cola.
Just a nip before bed.
Wild times
Older
in college
than Joe.
baseball right now. Kind of fun.
Was Sleepy Joe around for that one?
Sleepy Joe.
No, missed it by a couple years.
Oh, darn it. Old Sleepy Joe would have loved to see it.
The first place I went.
Yeah. So, man, if this were to happen, if Texas would pull that off, CDC throw the bank at that guy.
It's
man.
pretty funny to think like, so the A&M message boards are like, okay, so Texas is thinking, how can we make this about us?
Yeah. Right.
And then you got Dillon, the Dillons of the world, being like, "Hey, you haven't won anything in 84 years." And then you got me and KJ, who are just like, "Yeah, this is pretty great, actually."
If I'm an A&M fan, I'm saying like, oh, of course Texas wants the chatter to be about them today of all days. But I don't know how much of how much gamesmanship and that angle is going on here, or if
Hey.
there's an actual strategic play. I don't know.
Extreme 2017 voice, ready? Dude, that's savage.
I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't wait until
Epic.
tomorrow to make the announcement about Pierce. That would seem more logical to me, especially if they're going after
Diabolical even.
Schlossnagle.
Diabolical.
Let me read you the natties that A&M has won. Because
Okay.
Dillon
It's a
pointed out,
referendum on the
they haven't won
program.
anything in the top 3 sports.
So you
And I agree.
agree what?
But I'm looking at the other sports and I'm like,
Is it like meat judging?
all these years I've been fooled into thinking like, oh, A&M's been like stacking natties.
No.
Women's tennis,
Okay.
women's outdoor track, they won 4 times.
Fantastic
between 09
track and field
2014.
program at A&M.
Shout out to the track
Give
cats.
it to them. Fantastic.
Their men's track and field won 4 times between 09 and 2013. Softball 3 times in the 80s. Women's basketball once in 2011. Men's golf in 09. And then 1939, AP national champions football.
It's a long time ago, Davey.
Let's go.
I thought they had a lot more like random shit mixed in there.
Meat judging is Texas Tech.
I know. I was trying to throw them a bone. I didn't know what to guess there.
No, I mean
like,
I get it. I get why. Maybe,
Texas Tech has that shit locked down. They can
Yeah,
judge the
you know,
fuck out of some meat.
they know it.
Yeah.
You show it to them, they're gonna be like, "Yep, I'll tell you about that. That's aged, or whatever. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, that's prime.
I don't know what you.
That's
do.
a prime,
yeah.
That's a prime fillet right
Full
there.
one
If I
cut.
know my meat,
Can't fool me. That's Chuck.
yeah, I give that a 9 out of 10.
Sweetbread.
Gross. Get that out of here. That ain't real Wagyu. That's the blended shit.
Yeah, you can't get that past us. We're the Texas Tech meat judging
Yep,
team.
that's us. We're your first line of defense when it comes to judging meat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would be saying if I was on the
Exactly.
team.
If your name was Arliss Corliss, Kendall Catching, or Bryce Black, those are your meat judging names. And that's about what I would have expected.
What was the last one?
Bryce Black,
Okay.
Kendall Catching, Arliss Corliss,
Okay. Arliss Corliss.
Dayton Wood.
Dayton Wood.
Fuck
Hey, bro.
yeah, dude.
Okay. I'm not gonna even make a joke. Well, that was fun, man. That was baseball. Are you pulling for A&M?
No, why would I do that?
Because then it's more fun. Is it more funny if you take their coach after he wins the Natty?
No,
Okay.
no. It's
I'm
more
just
fun
asking.
if they're absolutely crushed. They miss out
And they lose their
on an
coach.
84-year drought, and then they lose their coach to Texas. Like, can you imagine? Like, I would feel. It's hard to feel bad for an Aggie. I would feel legitimately bad for A&M if that played out like that.
I'm texting Ross Wenchy.
A lot of pieces have to fall in place for that to happen. But if it were, I'm gonna. I don't know, man.
I come in here and listen to Dillon dunk on the Aggies all the time, and then I always remember Ross, our friend Ross, not WR, a different Ross, is a big Aggie, and I'm always like, oh, I hope you
And
didn't
he's
do
like the nicest guy ever.
that." Yeah, I'm always like,
Yeah.
crap.
I love that kid. Yeah, man. People like that, I would feel really bad for.
Hey, we got some shower thoughts.
Yeah, I was thinking about Lincoln Riley recently. And I wanted to share what I was thinking.
Were you
If you
firing
guys-
up a brisket?
If
And,
you guys would indulge me.
okay.
Lincoln Riley, he left OU for USC. Was it 2 years ago? He's had 2 full seasons there.
Yeah, he took Caleb Williams with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
he
yeah.
had 2 seasons. That's right. So he's had 2 seasons at USC. USC, they just Pac-12 is no more. They are now in the Big Ten. They started off this recruiting cycle by getting commitments from they started off super hot. Got a couple of 5-star defensive linemen, the top quarterback in the country committed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he's like the quarterback guy, right? Lincoln Riley, the quarterback guru. The two defensive linemen, 5-star kids, have recently they decommitted in the same week. I think the NIL collective at USC is very poor, um, especially compared to like OU, who's willing to actually spend money. I'm wondering if he wants that move back. And I get it, like living in LA is probably superior. The West Coast is probably superior to living in Norman, Oklahoma. I understand that angle to it. But I think the shine from Lincoln Riley is wearing off a bit. And I'm just wondering if he's like, man, I was probably in a much better position 2 years ago than I am now. I mean, he's gonna be fine. Like, he's gonna
Mhm.
if he doesn't work out at USC, he's gonna land on his feet elsewhere, I'm sure, or if not, go to the NFL or something.
Work
But
for Cliff.
I just think he's much better. And he had Caleb Williams at USC and didn't do shit with him. Like, they were not
Sure.
good, just an all-time terrible defense. I wonder if he's like, man, I was probably set up much better to win, 3 years ago than I am today. I wonder if his decision to leave was a little short-sighted.
You know, they're calling him. He calls himself Lincoln Riley. I call him Mitsubishi Riley
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
where he's at now.
Right. And hey, this is me giving OU props right now. So y'all listen up. I don't do that too often. But like, that's a much more stable program,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Of course, he couldn't have
It's-
foreseen, the move to the SEC and what that could do to recruiting and that
He didn't
kind of
want it.
stuff.
He was scared.
Maybe, but
He was
he's-
against the move, right? Like that was the rumors, or that he never.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I think that was what was said.
And like they play in that old LA Coliseum, which is just an absolute dump of a stadium. I don't know, man. I wonder if he's like, grass maybe wasn't greener on
KJ,
this side of the fence.
I understand. A couple things though. Bryce Underwood, who's committed to LSU, is like unquestionably the top quarterback in the 2025 year class.
Oh, I'm
5
sorry.
stars far and away.
The guy I was talking about is a 2026 quarterback. I wanted to clarify.
I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah,
I'm saying
I
in
should have
terms
said
of
that earlier.
looking at the near future. Bryce Underwood, number 1. Number 2, Julian Lewis, who is again another 5-star, unquestionably top tier prospect. So someone decommitting from further out at quarterback doesn't look great, but they're not going to be suffering for, attention. And they've got Julian Lewis's NIL valuation at 1.2 million, which is matched with Bryce Underwood's. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm old. But I do know that SC is going into the Big Ten. That's going to create a whole new dynamic where them and Oregon are either going to come in and just wreck shop or set the stage for a lot of notable national attention for Ohio State, Oregon, Ohio State, USC, Penn State, USC. And they're going to gain a lot of traction, I think, NIL wise, national attention wise, and like the quality of that job, I think, is just as strong as OU, even if right now we don't feel that the programs are in a similar spot.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
The alumni base, when I think about USC alumni base, I don't see them as like completely bought in on like an OU fan base would, who kind of just like,
'Cause they got other shit
live
to
and
do.
breathe OU football,
But I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think the challenge of winning at USC moving forward in the NIL era is greater than it is at a school like OU.
drop the bag, Will Ferrell. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm looking at their schedule. They start the year with LSU, I think on neutral field, probably at Jerry World in Arlington. They end the year at home against Notre Dame. And that does not mention having Michigan on the schedule, Penn State on the schedule, Washington on the schedule. That's a fun year. Texas has an equally like, holy shit, look at their schedule year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be, I'm excited for the fall. We've got a few weeks before we're talking college football in earnest, but we are quickly approaching week in, week out with like blockbuster matchups.
On ESPN.com, USC sneaks in the top 25 for 2024 at number 25. So obviously we're in the post Caleb Williams era. We'll see, man. I don't know.
KJ, didn't Lincoln Riley call you a pussy one time?
I get
He
it.
absolutely did.
Okay. I knew it was
Rightfully
somebody.
so. Like I harbor no ill will about it.
Well, were you being a pussy?
Like he was absolutely right. I was trying to actively like tap out of a drill by claiming like I was trying to both like achieve, oh, I'm trying my best, but just failing and all in one. And so it just looked like a lot of shitty technique in this stupid off-season drill. And he's like, will you get out of the way, pussy?
Damn. That's I mean,
I'm like, thanks, coach. I'll go stand back there, catch my breath.
yeah, I got called out for that in 8th grade because we were doing just like our version of like the Oklahoma drill, defensive back drills, which is like a drill that's so stupid that I was getting lit up in. And when it came, I was getting close to my time, my like 3rd time through the drill. And I was like, Coach, I need water. I'm seeing spots because it was hot. And he's like, oh, you want to skip out? Get the hell out of here, Ruff. You're dogging it. That's what they used to say.
Coach, I might die.
And to be fair, like he had no clue of knowing, but I was faking it to not have to do the drill again. So I had to run the way we did water in 8th grade football was just the hose along the fence with like the little, things cut
PVC
out.
like on off switches.
Yeah, and then you put your mouth up to a chain link fence that had a hose or a PVC pipe on it, and that was it.
Is that when you were bumped off your starting nose tackle position?
That was when second string free safety. That might have bumped me down to 3rd string. Still stayed at 2nd string wide receiver. I was an X. In a world of Y's, I was an X, and that's fine. We didn't throw the ball, but maybe once a game, if that. That was the old school. That was the old Duncanville Panthers. We've evolved. The game has changed since then. Keelan Russell, check him out at Alabama here in a couple of years. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You know what? I had a shower thought too. You ready for this? Sydney Sweeney.
I don't know that I can flip off on
Okay.
YouTube. Sorry.
Okay, Dave.
Where do you guys want to go from here? I guess we got to talk Game 7. This doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Game 7s happen often, but not very often when it's a 3-0 lead.
Was it 3-0? I thought it was 2-1 then 3-1.
This is a 3-0.
3-0.
Damn.
Yeah, this is the real deal.
Edmonton coulda, shoulda, woulda won game 2. But yeah, they didn't, and 3-0.
Damn.
So I have been on the other side of a 3-0 deficit recently, actually a week ago. And you're just kind of hoping. At that point, I was like, okay, please just don't get swept. You don't want to be the team that gets swept in the finals. You want to get the gentleman's sweep is fine. You showed up. And the Mavs avoided that, right? But then I got to thinking, I'm like, would I be more devastated? Like, what's better? Because there was some Mavs talk on Twitter about people like, I would rather, they're not going to win the series. Just end it. They won your one game. Cool. End it here. Don't get our hopes up by going back to Dallas. And I thought that was fucking crazy. I was like, no, win as many games as you can. And if you get it to Game 7 and you go up there and you lose a heartbreaker, you fought your ass off and everybody remembers you're that team that did that. It is gut wrenching though. And it's a lot of work to lose. Now, if you are an Oilers fan, hockey's different though. It's obviously been done in hockey before. Never been done in the NBA. Been done in baseball one time. They have to win this game, right? Like you would be surprised if Florida wins this game, wouldn't you?
Did the Cavs not do it with LeBron?
No.
They were down
3-1.
They were down 3-1. Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, against the Warriors. They were
Yeah.
down 3-1, yeah.
Okay.
That was the LeBron chase down block.
Yeah. Okay.
Sick game. Kyrie shot.
Yeah. I'm gonna, as soon as the College World Series final is over, I'm gonna switch over and catch you into some puck, man. That'll be exciting. McDavid, he's so sick, man.
Yeah, it's your Conn Smythe. Either way, I think. He's been unreal. He was unreal against the Stars, but this has been kind of a new level. And got to say, you feel a lot better if you're a Stars fan and you watch your team that you were supposed to beat these guys and you didn't. And it wasn't really that close. Um, this has been kind of wild to see. And if you're on the team that's blowing the 3-0 lead, if you're a fan, it just feels like you're in quicksand. You're probably dreading each. You're not looking forward to watching any of these games. Like you lose one, it's like, oh, okay. And then you lose, it's 3-2, and you're not feeling great. 3-3, and now you're just like, this has got to be the worst game 7 viewing experience, because all you're doing is being like, we don't want to make history. That's all you're thinking.
Yeah.
I would say watching the end of game 6 had to be a mind fuck of an experience too. Thinking about the Mavs Celtics, when the Celtics pulled their players with 4 or 5 minutes of game 4 in the third quarter. Like you knew, okay, whatever, we're going to game 5. But there was still a part of me where I'm like, that's so early. Like you could close this out if you made a run for it, but whatever. Obviously it worked out. In game 6, they were down 3-0. And then it was 3-1. And then they had a power play. And then they didn't convert. They had another power play. And this was like 6 minutes left in the third period at 3-1. And quickly was like, shit, they get one here and you're in a 1-goal game with 5 or 6 minutes left. Like this goes from unfathomable embarrassment to like, they closed out in 6. It got a little close here, but they won on the road. And, you're sending a lot of, redneck Canadians home pissed off. But obviously it didn't happen. If they come out and blow out Edmonton in game 7, everyone's still going to remember this as like, oh, Edmonton disappointed. They should have closed this out and like made history, which is the shittiest experience as a fan possible. Like you don't get to enjoy it. Like this is their first ever in their franchise history. And now you've put your fan base in a situation where it's like, how proud am I? We just pissed down our leg for 3.5 games.
Yeah. And especially the news that Oilers girls doing Playboy or did Playboy.
Really?
There's something there. Randy, can you look that up? You don't have to pull it up. Can you get some more intel on that, big dog?
Sure.
He's looking it up.
Look it up, big dog.
Yeah, look, the Oilers have been here before, but in this manner, in this fashion, it would be a real gut punch, because you have the clear best player not only in the series but in the league, and if you go in there and get your shit run, it's be like,
What's more miserable though? If you're a Panthers fan watching your 3-0 lead just to slowly deteriorate over the span of a week and a half to lose the Stanley Cup, or an Oilers fan who's down 0-3 and suddenly you see your team pull even and then lose in game 7.
yeah.
Which sucks more?
See, it's interesting, because it's like there's really no outcome tonight that people are going to be questioning Connor McDavid. There's not. Your best player.
Yep.
No one, nothing. I mean, he could go out there and just absolutely just diarrhea down his pant leg. Nobody would care. People might say he's more locked in if he does
They'd
that.
say he ran out of steam.
That's right.
That's right. Ran out of steam. Whereas like with the Mavs, the NBA, it's such a star-driven league as far as personalities and narratives and like that, where all I was thinking is, please, Luka, Kyrie, just have a good game, a good effort here, so like the narrative isn't in the offseason like, oh, you choked in the finals, that whole deal. I remember being in this position with the Mavs in the playoffs like 20 years ago or something. It was Mavs Trailblazers, like the Rasheed Wallace Trailblazers. And the Mavs had a 3-0 lead, and it went to game 7. And I was for certain, this is like the 2000, I don't know if this is 2001, 2003 Mavs. It's an early Mavs team. And I was certain they were going to blow it and be like that team in history that has done it. Still never been done there. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's the Panthers. The Panthers, you do not want to be that team, even though it's been done in the NHL before. It's just, you had everything, your goalkeeper, everything, and you just got this one dude just destroyed your team.
Your team will forever be the team that gave up a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's really, it really is.
That stays with you for a long time until you win, actually.
0-3.
It stays with you until you win a Stanley Cup.
It does.
It's like, we finally got that monkey off our back.
Well said. Well said. Are those games on at the same time?
Yeah, I think they start an hour apart from each other. I think 6 and 7 o'clock, I believe.
Is it too unstable to try to multi-view a college baseball game and a a game 7? Like you can't. You got to go games. I don't know where because you're more of a baseball guy, but a game 7, especially of this magnitude, is you got to go with that. But I might multi-view. Just keep the audio on the game 7. I don't know.
Yeah,
What are you gonna do?
audio's better for hockey for sure.
I feel like we've got to pay attention to the fact that we've got 2 finals here. We've got a presidential debate this week, coming off of like a shit hot golf tournament, coming up on another major here soon. Red, white, and blue is big. Like, I'm not going to watch. I'm just going to double down on all of my stock investments on Hey Dude and like Luke Combs albums because this is an absolute week for that character type.
Okay.
Just saying.
Describe this character type a little bit more.
Okay. You look in the crowd at any college baseball World Series game,
Yeah.
and you know what they're going to be dialed into Thursday night and who they're rooting for. The crowd is thick in Omaha, and I love it.
A lot of red votes.
Like the meat.
You mentioned the Travelers.
But I'll watch hockey probably.
Okay. Okay. KJ, you had some thoughts for these protesters. If you want to, I'll give you the floor to opine here if you want. You were saying something. You said you've added up to here with protesters. First Stonehenge, now the Travelers.
Yeah. We were mere hours removed from having like a tornado a few hours away from us and some floods in the area. So I was kind of looking, I'm like, maybe they're on to something. In all seriousness, I missed like the actual intrusion. I don't know what I was watching at the time, but I flipped over and I saw the green was all fucked up, and I'm like, am I watching Live in Nashville? Like, what is going on with the course? I was a little bit confused and discombobulated. But can we talk about the tournament actually, like about how the Travelers ended?
We can. I just want to
That was
say
coming
that
on that.
the reason I knew something happened was I got a text from my dad and it just said, "Wow, don't see that every day." And I was like,
Huh.
"Okay." And I was following the Ranger game.
What
and I
could
was
this
like,
be?
I was like, "This is not baseball related because the Rangers, Scherzer threw 5 1 hit.
You don't see that every day.
You don't. In fact, you haven't seen it at all this year." And so I put on golf, and right when I put it on, Scottie, they show Scottie just kind of laughing. First of all, dude is such a cool character. Like he did not. None of those guys. They handled it well. As for golfers, you don't really know what's going on. There's a lot of
Yeah.
fucking wild shit happening.
We haven't seen this in golf yet, have we? Happens in pretty much every other. I think this is the first time I've seen it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, inside the ropes.
Yeah,
No one's
inside the
gluing
rope.
their hand to the yellow rope.
That's right. Somebody should have glued their hand to the flag stick. That would have been
To the pin.
objectively
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
They're like, this is removable. We'll just put a different flag stick here, but it's okay.
I was hoping the protester had a little piece of a pool noodle to go put in the hole because he wanted to bring it back to COVID era golf.
That was the dumbest thing ever. Oh, we're gonna beat COVID by putting pool noodles in the cups so you don't have to reach all the way in, which
And
is somehow
not only that, Dylan, but here's what we're really gonna do. We're gonna take away your water coolers because
yes,
we don't want you guys. We gotta have you guys dehydrated as fuck.
And a lot of the
beat
courses that I used to play they never put them back. They just like, well, they survived that one summer without water coolers, so we don't need to do it anymore.
They're saving like
Come to
probably
find out, they just didn't have
$18
the
a
guy to
month.
fill it back up.
KJ, I'm when he says they haven't put them back, he's not kidding. The municipal courses in Dallas,
Lions Municipal, aka Muni, in Austin, Texas. It's 102 degrees outside, 95% humidity, and there's no water on the course. You have to bring your own.
Well, they did that to keep like the courses affordable. Like, surely the cost of playing hasn't gone up.
Yeah, to fill up these jugs that we already own because we've had them for years. We're just not gonna fill them up anymore.
Yeah, sorry guys. We're just cutting. We're just trying to cut back a little bit. We're trying to save this course. So maybe buy your water inside the pro shop.
Yeah, it's $7 for 20-ounce
Insane.
Ozarka
Yeah. So Scotty's won 6 times this year.
in a playoff against
Insane.
Tom Kim this time.
You mentioned we haven't seen this in golf, but I do think this is a hugely missed opportunity to, like, if you really wanted to affect the game and draw some attention and like fuck shit up, don't try to go fuck up the green. All you had to do was do something to one of the players' bags. Like, throw something, a substance into the bag, like honey, something that would affect the clubs. Obviously, you can't do anything too destructive, but like, you go throw a fucking handful of honey onto the clubs.
You can't throw a handful of honey. It sticks.
How do you
it
throw a
sticks.
handful of honey?
You know, they've got new honey.
You got to squeeze the. You got the big old bear bottle. You're just squeezing it real hard. Like,
It takes forever to get it out. Like, hold on.
no, you need Crisco.
Like turning, yeah, okay, there you
Crisco
go.
the
Much more
bag.
practical. I'm like trying to turn a Glad bag inside out.
Crisco the bag, and it's like, what the hell?
Throw a handful of honey. I'm just imagining how hard that would be.
No one has ever thrown honey.
None of it's coming off. Yeah. You're just flinging it. Little drops are sticky clubs, man.
Well, I might have just outed myself as one of these protesters with their dumbass ideas. I did love having the knowledge of Full Swing and knowing how close Tom Kim is with Scheffler and how well loved he is and appreciated he is. So like getting the alert of like, hey, this is going to be a Tom Kim day. That's when I tuned in. Obviously, you see Scheffler up there on the leaderboard. You're like, okay, this could end a different way. We have that happen. Scheffler's in a position to end it before playoff. And he doesn't. Pars.
Good effort, though.
But the exchange where he goes to Tom Kim or like looks to him and gets his okay, because he would have had to straddle Tom Kim's line. Am I saying that correct? Like, did you see how he tapped in his final shot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, I don't know that exchange happens if we're talking any other competitive relationship where the two players don't get along well, or if they just aren't bros like Tom Kim and Scheffler are. Because that was Tom Kim's shot. He could have marked it. I don't know if that's like common, but they had a very casual, like, hey, you good? I'm gonna step over this. I'm gonna stay out of your line and I'll get out of your way to let you finish, potentially driving it to a playoff or fucking it up and I might win.
Sure. Yeah, you'll see stuff like that when a guy has the tournament won and like he'll wait to tap in when the guy who's clearly has no chance, just to like let the crowd, so the crowd doesn't erupt, go crazy, and then this guy's still got a putt. I know that was not the situation, but you'll see stuff like that. Golfers are usually pretty good about that. The Tom Kim stuff is interesting because they've really pushed him, and he got an entire Full Swing episode, and you're like, okay, this is a likable guy. I think they said he's a phenom. He's got all the talent in the world, and you're kind of like, okay, so you're kind of waiting. You're waiting for that outing, that major appearance. But good showing. But that shot into 18 on the playoff hole was a real turd. But Scotty's the best right now, man. And 6 wins is pretty insane.
6 wins before July.
That's wild.
Nuts.
Big nuts. And he went to jail.
10 is the most ever won in a season, I believe.
Was that the cat?
Tiger did it.
Okay.
He's not the only one, though, I don't believe.
Was it
only have more featured events, though.
Was it okay? Yeah, it's true. You got elevated events too. You got to factor that in. What level of elevation were these other events? I'm just
Hard
kidding.
to say, really.
All right. And then last thing I want to talk about, if we can move on from golf. Oh, you know what? This actually fits in with USA. Did you like how when they tackled the protesters, just a USA chant breaks out? They have no clue.
I thought it was kind of an anti-Tom Kim thing, and I'm like, the guy's from Dallas, guys, chill out.
Was
that
Is it like a pro destroying the environment chant? Like that's what we do in the USA.
There's just like for some reason, like no matter what someone is protesting, it's like, all right, well, we gotta just hit them with the USA. Because the status quo, we're not perfect. But when in doubt, we're gonna bust out this chant right here.
Mhm.
And whatever they're protesting, we're rendering it moot. We're gonna hit them with that.
Cromwell, Connecticut.
What? Is that where it was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just looking. I don't know that I'm like trying to stereotype the South or Southeast or something, but I kind of felt like Connecticut would have been more sympathetic to the protesters.
Connecticut's a weird place. That's all I have to say about
King
that.
Kniff, famously from there.
Ken Kniff from okay, a reference for 10 people, but you are the Eminem guy, so I'll allow you to make it. Hey, did you see Team USA? We're bringing our portable AC units to Paris, even though they're trying to have like the most carbon friendly Olympics ever. Like fans are cool. We got to bring these ACs though, and people were real stoked for it online.
Okay, so the USA chant makes sense now. We are.
Yeah.
It really does.
Like window units.
I don't know if it's a window unit. I doubt it. As someone who's lived with a window unit, they don't work great, especially in a frat house. They really don't work great, especially when somebody, I don't know, just kicks it out of the thing onto the ground.
You would think the installation at that frat house would be spectacular.
It's spectacular if spectacular means taking years off my life.
Yeah, man. During Hell Week,
Here we go.
this isn't about the air conditioning, but it's about the rat problem we had at the house. We had rat traps set out throughout the house, and then during Hell Week we had to spend the night at the house, and they were just running around amongst us when we were sleeping. And one of the actives who lived there, he caught two with one trap at the same time, and these fuckers were huge, man.
Yeah.
That house was such a piece of shit. My God.
Yeah.
Truly, just a health hazard. Yeah,
Not good at all. KJ.
not good at all.
Got to think the Valerians are going to hear about it.
Okay. He hasn't watched yet. Just hold on. Just give him. We're still within 24 hours. Randy hasn't either.
I haven't even watched episode 1 yet.
He hasn't even, what the fuck's your
I've
problem?
been busy.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so I saw this on
Give me
Twitter.
this.
A lot of flag waving, being like, fuck yeah, we're bringing our AC units. That's what we do. We're not the only country doing this, by the way. In fact, a lot of countries are doing this. So this is not an example of American exceptionalism. I'm sorry to ruin this for people, but a number of countries, including Great Britain, Canada, Italy, Germany, Greece, Denmark, and Australia, they're bringing their portable ACs. So
What does Paris have against air conditioning?
again, they're trying to do the carbon neutral or
Yeah.
carbon safe Olympics, which it's going to be hot. So let's calm down there.
I'm realizing I was watching the Olympic trials. I was watching track and field is what distracted me from the travelers. I've been dialed in to the Olympic trials, so I'm excited. We've got Snoop Dogg going over with Mike Tirico this year for all of your spare Olympic coverage.
We're bringing Snoop, huh?
I feel like we are 15 years into an overexposure run, but Snoop is infallible apparently.
Snoop is the, how can I say this? Snoop is the Shaq of hip hop. He just
Perfect.
every endorsement, every deal, like just everywhere. And you know what?
He's the Mario Lopez of hip hop.
Oh, okay. Mario Lopez.
You got
he
a show,
says.
put him on it.
Why not, dude? Ryan Seacrest, even
Except for,
the whitest guy ever.
I believe everything I heard and knocked up, and I think like that Ryan Seacrest works hard, but I have no idea.
You said you watched some of the time trials. You see Sha'Carri?
I did, and it's weird to feel like oddly proud. I mean, we did the story. It was our first year, I think, when she did not make it to the Olympics. She was a huge face going into the Olympics in 2020, which got pushed back to 2021. So to see her from Dallas deal with all that shit talking for 2 years, stay in shape, stay ready, and come back and get her shot, I hope that she shines on the biggest of stages.
On the biggest stage possible. Yes, I do too. Shout out to her. Dallas, Texas. Let's go. Anything else before we get out of here? I know, Dylan, you got a super hard out.
I do. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Fun episode.
We miss anything? We're really good at like stuff breaking either at the end of the show or shortly thereafter.
Don't think so. I think we're okay on this one.
Okay.
Should we run it back?
Run it back.
Of course, that's the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Dillon is excited to bear hug KJ in Chi-Town. Dave ate chicken piccata at home. Texas Tech can judge some meat now. Lincoln Riley once called KJ a pussy, and he probably deserved it. Dave once faked seeing stars to get out of a football drill. Oilers girl might have done Playboy. Rainey.
Yes, she is on the roster now. I saw some images. The things were not out, but I'm sure they will be in the official shoots.
Yeah,
They have done some
You got to
shoots.
think. And finally, if Connor McDavid diarrhea is down his leg, maybe that just means he's more locked in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
That
tonight.
concludes Run It Back.
Yeah, and I think next week we're going to go into the Migrant Fighting League that's being pitched from the Orange Man. I don't know if you had a chance to see that over the weekend,
I
but
haven't yet. I'll catch up on it.
he pitched it to Dana. He told him we should have a Migrant Fighting
MFFL.
League.
Genius.
I
Businessman.
mean, you look, he's slipping a little bit, but every now and then you're going to see some glimpses.
Every now and then he'll dial it up to 99 again and right on the black.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Feels like it's just not a good idea, but we'll see. All right, we'll see you, KJ. I'll see you in a few days, as will Dylan and Randy.
Yep.
We'll see everybody
Later.
Monday.
I
Bye.
want my
Bye.
chips
Bye-bye.
with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.